Whoa! Look at that!
There's a big fish.
Oh my God!
Hey everybody, on today's Good Fishing, we'll be highlighting a truly amazing multi-species fishery in Wisconsin, found right within the city limits of Madison, the state's capital city. Although Madison is sometimes described as the city of 4 lakes, the Madison chain of lakes actually consists of 5. Lake Mendota, Monona, Wingra, Waubesa, and Lake Kegonsa.
Decisions. Hate to have Eric start kicking my butt right away.
So last summer, I sent Nate Berg of our staff there to meet up with our good friend Iricadia, who guides in that part of Wisconsin.
Are you using mono, Eric?
I am. Mono or fluorocarbon on a couple bait casters.
Together, their task was to demonstrate some simple multi-species fishing techniques and to showcase the catching of as many Madison area fish species as possible in only 2 days of fishing. And as you're about to see, my challenge to show off this amazing metro fishery was indeed their privilege to share.
Now, are there also smallies in here?
There's everything, man. That's kind of why I like the Madison chain. You got muskies, walleyes, catfish, big bluegills, crappies, just a really nice mixed bag.
Madison chain of lakes has everything, and it's great for everything.
Pattern number 1 was super hot weather summertime bass, and anything else Eric and Nate could get to pop on crankbaits.
Here's what we got here, Nate. We got a point that comes out, right? And on the tip of it, there's some good weed growth, and what we're trying to do is throw these cranks in the weeds and rip them through the weeds to get a reaction strike. There he is.
Got one, Eric?
Yeah, on the old crankbait.
Decent fish, or?
A little largy. I'll just flip him right in. There's one. Nice little largies, man. You get some big ones mixed in. We hopefully trying to get a school of them going. Just ripping that crankbait through the weeds. Yeah, nice little critter to start off the day. We'll take him. See if he's got some buddies. Sometimes you catch that one and you take a cast.
That's all it takes, absolutely.
Right back in that same area. That one came right up there. And you can get that whole school started, you know.
There's one. Just a little guy. But this is definitely a reaction strike. Just caught him on the bottom lip, Eric.
Yeah.
And that's where that ripping through the weeds comes into play.
Yep.
They're just reaction striking it.
Not super aggressive, but we are getting them to eat this bait. When the bite's tough, sometimes you want a reaction bite. Rattle traps, crankbaits.
First Madison bass.
This bait will allow you to basically learn the structure. Crankbaits you're gonna be able to feel the rock, feel the weeds, and when you master the crankbait, you're basically working it right on the edge of the weeds and through the weeds. That's usually where these big fish are sitting, right on the edge of these tips. Make contact with something when you're crankbait fishing. You either gotta be hitting rock, hitting weeds, and that's usually when those fish hit. There he is.
Another one,
a little better, yeah.
We're coming back to that wind-blown edge again.
All right, yep, another large.
Yeah, there's a good one.
Not bad. All right, we'll take them, baby. Cranking them up. It's my favorite way to catch them, either on a jig or a crankbait. Thanks, buddy. When I'm picking out a crankbait rod, you know, I'm using a St. Croix Premier here. It's actually specifically designed for crankbaits. It's a crankbait model series rod. It's a really affordable rod. It's probably one of my favorite ones. For the style fishing we're doing with the smaller crankbaits, kind of like this 7-foot medium action. Then when we fish the deep weeds, I'll actually go a little longer and a little heavier.
Another really important feature to using these 7-foot rods, these nice whippy moderate rods, is castability. We're using really light lures here, and having that extra whip really allows you to get them baits out there a lot farther.
It's just an awesome, awesome rod.
There's one.
Walleye. Not a bad walleye.
This is a nice walleye here.
It's a nice walleye. Oh, he's barely hooked. Want me to net him or no?
Yeah, let's net this guy.
All right, buddy.
There you
nice
go.
job.
That's a nice walleye right there.
Good job. Hey, everything wants to eat a crankbait, you know that? Muskies, walleyes, everything on a crankbait. Everything wants to hit a crankbait.
Just about 20 inches, Eric.
Nice fish, dude.
Yeah.
That's why I like fishing them.
There you go, buddy. Thank you.
We got a little rock pile out here. And all we're doing is keeping the boat in about 6-7 feet of water.
We worked around this whole thing, and the concentration of them is right on the wind-blown edge of this thing. Most of the bait will concentrate on that wind-blown edge, and they're in there chomping them up.
There he is. Nice one, Nate. Good one. He's gonna come up. Oh yeah!
Hey, that's a nice largemouth there.
That's what we want.
That's a nice bass right
Yeah.
there. Let's net that one. You keep that puppy up in the air.
All right.
That's a nice bass
fish,
right there.
That's what we want. Largemouth
Wow.
bass on the crankbait, baby. Yeah. Love it, man. You know, and this is the kind of fish I was running into the other day on these crankbaits, and sometimes it's cast after cast. But on the crank, 6 feet of water, ripping through weeds. Nice fish. All right.
Continuing now on the Madison chain of lakes in Madison, Wisconsin, in hopes of finding some even bigger fish. Day 2 finds our guys switching from artificials to live bait rigs and looking a little bit deeper.
Oh yes, I love it. Live bait fishing can be a lot of fun too, man. I love catching them on artificials, but there's something special about dragging a big old fat minnow in the summer. You know, when you come out to these lakes here in southern Wisconsin, big bass here, partner.
Do ya?
Yeah. It's typically the same sort of pattern that would apply anywhere else. That's what we got right there. Same sort of simple rig. The deeper lakes, the clearer lakes, live bait fishing can be sometimes more effective than artificial baits, and vice versa. Artificials can be more effective than live bait. On day 2, we fished a different lake. I wanted to fish a deeper, deep weed pattern, deep rock pattern. We weren't getting a lot of big fish up shallow on day 1, so I wanted to try some deeper stuff. That might be a bass. We just went over what I thought was a school bass. Let's see if that's where really drop shotting, live bait can be very effective for catching big largemouth. And that's what you get right there.
There's a nice bass right there, boy. Do you want that net?
I'll just grab them.
That's a beautiful bass right there.
Average size fish for around here. Solid 18-incher. That's just with that circle hook right here. And we're fishing with a minnow. Now we're in about 18 feet of water right now. Like I said, we're fishing for multi-species fish out here. Dragging some leeches, dragging some minnows, worms, drop shotting. Never know what you're gonna catch. Funny thing is, I saw those fish on my graph.
Yeah.
If you look, the long arcs are either pike or walleyes, and those short blobby arcs are the bass. So really good separation. You can see those fish down there. There's some more down there right now.
I might have to put on a sucker. I'm a firm believer, Eric, in what's working, go with it.
Absolutely, bro.
And that's the second fish to my none, so.
Got another one going, buddy.
You keep on getting them, man.
Oh, that's a good one. I think another big bass. Yep. This one I might need the net for. He feels heavy.
All right.
Yep. Oh, we went right back over that school of fish. Gonna come up. Gonna come up.
Oh, that's a dandy there.
You know, it just goes to show you can get them on cranks. And if you don't like the crankbait fish, simple fishing. Drag a minnow on the deep weeds.
It's all about catching.
You're gonna
them,
catch pike. You're gonna catch bass. All about catching. You hit
It's
the.
all about catching.
Yep. And look at that. And then you
when
can get yourself a
catch bass
nice,
like that.
nice 5-pounder. Nice 5-pounder on a circle hook.
And when you can catch bass like that, who cares how you catch them?
Exactly, hey? You know, I've been fishing the Madison chain here for about 15 years. Big fish in these lakes around here. The whole chain here is quite a unique, different fishery, and guiding it can be somewhat different on each lake that I fish. There he is. Oh yeah, baby, on my ultralight drop shot. Tell you what, getting some on live bait, but I decided to try to finesse them up on plastics, so I went with the 4-pound. 4-pound in the ultralight drop shot in plastic. Gotta sometimes really, really finesse them to get what you want. I started coming out here to Madison for 2 reasons. One is the fishing has been so good. Oh! Big bass on ultralights, man. The other reason I started coming out here is there's just not a lot of fishing pressure.
That's a big fish right there.
Oh yeah. On that drop shot rig.
You got this stuff figured out, man. I will give you that.
On a plastic
And then some.
drop shot rig, ultralight. Some of the lakes in southern Wisconsin are extremely high boat pressure. And these lakes aren't quite as bad, but the fishing tends to be exceptional.
Yep. Oh boy.
You got a big one there, dude.
Here he comes up, here he comes up. Look at, oh!
Nice big largie. Especially for the fish I like fishing for the most, and that's big fish.
Here he comes up, look at there.
It's a big one. It's just a system that consistently produces big fish.
That is the biggest bass I've caught in quite a while, man.
Yeah,
I don't get to fish very often, you know?
It's pushing 5 for sure all day.
This is what fishing with Eric Hadia is all about. I think I need a picture with this
All
one,
right,
buddy.
I'll grab the camera.
Okay, now for the cat I've been just dying to let out of the bag about the Madison chain of lakes. Giant channel cats, that is. And that's right, lakes within Wisconsin's second largest city offer probably one of the hottest catfish fisheries going on in the entire Midwest. Eric Hadia is one of the very few who knows this as fact, which is why he and Nate spent a small portion of 3 nights proving the point and having a blast.
Typically when we're out here fishing for cats, what I like to use is whatever I can catch on this body of water. If it's bluegills, crappies, white bass, I'm just gonna cut them up kind of into just thirds and chunks.
Just spreading out the rods. One rod out here, one rod there, and one rod going out in the back. Start catching some catfish.
You know, about 12 years ago, a buddy and I came out here and we'd heard that there was some nice catfish in the Madison chain on the bobber, fishing at 3 feet down and about 4 feet of water. We did a little exploring and talked to a couple of the local bait shops. All right!
Yes, nice job, Eric.
You know, they pointed us in the right direction. We just started exploring on the chain. And big catfish, light tackle, and really having some excellent luck catching a bunch of cats on a really consistent, regular basis. Hey, we might be putting all bobbers on here all night tonight with spinning tackle. That's the trick, buddy.
We just have a typical little stick bobber with a little bit of swivel so it can spin down there because it will spin.
Yep.
And no weight. Just letting it free fall with the waves going, just bouncing up and down. The second night of catfishing, it got really breezy. Another fish on the bobber.
On the bobber, baby, on the bobber.
When the waves get rolling, a lot of times fishing with just a bobber and no weight and keeping that bait suspended and letting it free flowing will work. Oh, there's a nice one.
Oh yeah,
There's a nice one.
Big fish.
And that was a lot of fun catching those fish on them lighter rods. Your small fish here are big.
You don't catch many little ones.
They are an amazing creature.
Recently, in the last 5 years, there's been an overabundance probably of catfish on some of these lakes. Not bad.
Not bad at all, man.
And there's a year class of channel cats right now that are exceptional. These lake channels are just such an awesome, clean, healthy fish, isn't it? Most of the cats you catch are typically 8 to 20 pounds. Boy, they fight though, dude. It's a good fish. You know, isn't there something special about catching big fish, whether it's big bass on an ultralight?
Oh, no doubt.
Catching a big catfish on an ultralight. You know, just catching big fish on that light action. I mean, these St. Croix rods, these light action rods that can handle big fish. Consistently, it's just one of the best channel cat bites that I'm aware of right now in the Midwest. What a beauty,
Another
huh?
nice fish, man. Another nice fish.
Probably the best in a lake in the Midwest, as far as I'm concerned.
You got yourself a little gold mine here.
Well, if you like cats, man, and the multi-species fishing, these lakes are some good lakes for catching nice big fish.
The catfishing was fun. They fight so hard. Look at them go nuts.
And catfishing is just, it's so underrated, you know?
Oh, he's a nice fish.
Not bad.
8 to 10 pound channels out of a lake that I didn't even know had them. Downtown Madison and the Madison chain of lakes.
If you like catfishing, the most underrated, underutilized fish right now are channel cats on the Madison chain, in my opinion.
I grew up about an hour and a half north of here in a little town called Blair, Wisconsin, and we never came down to Madison to fish. We always heard about how good the fishing was.
Yeah, I love it. Oh yeah, look at him.
There he is, there he is.
Oh yeah, big channels. Big channels fishing in lakes here in the Madison chain.
And to get to fish with Eric on this trip.
Summertime catting.
In shallow water.
Yep, 3 feet of water.
Nice. With a guy that knows this lake, these lakes inside and out was a great pleasure for me.
You know, this is the average size right here. You're catching a lot of these 10 pounders, you know? Tons of big channels up here and some of these lakes in the Madison chain. No one's fishing. I'm gonna get this one back.
That's a world-class
Yeah.
channel catfish right there.